This is Channel 2 News, coverage you can count on.
I can say that I would look for what's best in the interests of the citizens of Nevada. I think there are things that we need to address.
I'm very proud that in this race, I came in as the underdog. I had to try to cobble something together in order to get my messaging out.
Steve Sisolak and Chris Giuliani just wrapped up their first debate as both candidates look to become the Democratic nominee for governor. We'll have a full wrap-up of the debate tonight on Channel 2 News at 7 o'clock. And boy, what an hour it was, just wrapping up right here on Channel 2. The Democratic candidates for governor squared off in Las Vegas, ending just minutes ago, addressing a lot of topics tonight, including gun violence, minimum wage, opioid abuse, a lot of things covered. I'm Landon Miller.
And I'm Kristen Remington. Thanks for keeping it here with us tonight. We have team coverage for you of the debate. Chris Buckley is at a viewing party. We'll check in with her in just a minute. But first, Ariana Bennett is joined now by political expert Eric Herzik to help break down the highlights of the debate. Ari, we'll begin with you two.
Right. Okay. So for a lot of Northern Nevadans, this really is the first look at these candidates. They're both Clark County commissioners. They haven't spent a ton of time up here in the north part of the state. So for our viewers up here, how well do you think they appealed to our issues in the north? And do you think one of them performed better than the other in this way?
Well, if you're from the north and you watched this, you watched Clark County.
Right.
The issues were overwhelmingly about Clark County. They talked about fair share. Even the gun violence one was focused on Clark County, the stadium issue in Clark County. But the only time they talked about outside of the state had to do with the funding formula, say for rural areas, which Steve Sisolak basically said, oh, we have to give more money to the rurals, which I thought was a very strange comment for a Democrat to make.
So do you have a feeling that either one of them performed better when it comes to appealing to Northern Nevada, or even on this at this stage?
I think they were even. I think they were more appealing to different wings within the Democratic Party. Chris G is certainly from the more progressive wing. I'll call it the Elizabeth Warren wing of the party. Sisolak at times sounded like what he's often criticized by Democrats for being. Very conservative Democrat, if not kind of a liberal Republican, particularly when he talked about tax breaks for development and his defense of the stadium vote in Clark County.
No huge surprises, I think, when you have Democratic candidates that they're both willing to consider tax increases. They're both in support of the minimum wage, although in different ways. Was there anything for you that was particularly revelatory?
Not really. Nobody made a big mistake. Every once in a while, Chris G got way into the weeds in terms of some of the details, which reflects her legislative experience. Sisolak's answer on opioids was just, I had no idea where he was going with that. But for the most part, they played to their part of the party. When on the minimum wage, you saw Sisolak say, I go $10 right now, and Giuliani immediately said, 15 is good enough for me. So it was, I mean, nobody made a big mistake. I don't think anybody kind of broke out in a way, and Sisolak's opening answers were a little more specific, but then as we went on, Chris Giuliani got very specific. So at best it's a draw, and if you watched it from a particular ideological perspective, you'll say, oh, well, my candidate clearly won. Oh, no, my candidate clearly won. I don't think anybody won or lost.
Okay, so really quickly, just because I have a few seconds, but I'm curious, do you have a feeling about which one would be a better pick for Democrats to face off against the likely person they'll be facing off on the Republican side, Adam Weishaupt?
I'm going to be conservative on this and say Sisolak. He's got more of a crossover appeal to kind of centrist voters, even some liberal Republicans who are going to look at Adam Weishaupt and say, I can't go there.
Okay, Eric, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. All right, Landon and Kristen, we'll go ahead and send it back to you guys.